Good morning and good afternoon and good evening to all of you. Thank you for joining us for this Newcomers session during the Africa Internet Summit online. Before we proceed, I would like to just take you through the user uh, icons that are meant to sustain and enhance your platform usability. You will see a microphone and it has a hand on it. So that one will be used for question and answer, that whenever you have during the question and answer session, you can click on that and wait for your turn to speak. You will also see live transcription. It looks like pen and paper. At the moment, it is not active, but we hope it will be active during the session. That is the live transcription button. You will see a chat section where should you have anything, should you have technical difficulties, kindly refer, just comment there. There'll be people to help you on standby. I'll start by introducing my name. I am Susan Otieno. I am the PR and Marketing Manager at AFRINIC. I will take us through our meeting etiquette. We are entitled to stick to time. This goes also to our presenters. Stick to the stipulated time and make most of the time allocated for us during this meeting. If you have any difficulty seeing slides or hearing me or something, kindly write us on the chat as I've mentioned before. And if you have any further difficulties, or maybe you have friends who could not make it to register on time, ask them to join us via the YouTube platform where we are streaming this live. So far, we are 49. It will be nice to know where you are from, where you're joining us from. You can write that on the chat, as well as go further and put this on social media, tagging AFRINIC and under the hashtag AIS'20 online. At this juncture, I would like to welcome Bryce to take us through the program of the session today. Welcome, Bryce.
Welcome, Susan. Hi, everyone. My name is Brice Abba. I'm the community manager at AFRINIC. And I would like to welcome you guys all for the this D0 of the African Internet Summit. That's the Newcomers Day. And I think that to respect the time, I will just show you the agenda of the day, and I will start by the first presentation. So if the okay. Okay, Susan, can you confirm that you can see my?
Can be seen, Bryce.
Okay, all right. So for today's session, okay, for today's session, we are going to have the opening that we are currently doing. After that, we are going to talk about AFRINIC and internet ecosystem. And we'll continue with the AFRINIC activities and initiative that will complete fellowship programs, sponsorship, and all the other programs that AFRINIC is doing. And after the tea break, we are going to continue with ICANN presentation. After ICANN presentation, we are going to have ISO presentation, and we'll continue with AFRINIC presentation. We are going to give you update on AFRINIC resources. And after that, we are going to give you an update on the policy development process and the policies that will be discussed during the AIS meeting next week. And after that, we are going to onboard you guys for AFRINIC meetings. So we are basically talking, in this session, we are going to explain the different steps that we have in our meetings. So these are the points that we are going to cover on this session. All right, so okay, so we are going to do the fellows and the newcomers induction. That is presented by myself. As I just introduced myself, I'm a community development manager at AFRINIC, and this is my email. So for your induction, I will be covering these the following points. We are going to have internet ecosystem. After the internet ecosystem, we are going to talk about AFRINIC Limited, what we are doing. And after that, we are going to talk about our initiatives next to the core business of AFRINIC. What are the things that we are doing for the community, part of the core business of AFRINIC? In the internet ecosystem, we are going to describe the internet ecosystem elements, understand their role, and explain why the Africa community has created AFRINIC. Okay, this is the definition of the internet ecosystem. So it's the term used to describe the organization and community that have organically evolved to guide the operation and development of the technology and infrastructure that comprise the global internet. So I just read it because it's very important. But another point is that all those organizations have a main goal to ensure that internet is open and to ensure that we keep on developing the internet. So all those organizations, all those countries that are in this ecosystem, as soon as they are working to ensure that internet is open, internet is developed, they are part of the ecosystem. So these are the ecosystem players, internet ecosystem players. So in the heart, we can see that we have the area here. We are going to focus on the areas later. But in the middle, we have IANA. That is a function to assign IP and name to the entire internet community. Into the internet ecosystem elements, also we have what we are calling the standard organization. Those organizations are working to create standards that are used by all the devices that want to use the IP, the internet protocol. So they have to follow those standards to ensure that they can communicate with each other. So we also have the DNS, that is, we have the generic top domain level, and we have the route servers, and we have the country codes top domain level. So basically, in the generic top domain level, we have the hello, can you still get me?
Yes, Bryce, we can hear you.
Okay. So we have the .com, .net, etc. And the country code, we have the country name like .ci, .mru, .fr, etc. And after that, all those elements are working for the end user. So you can see from the right and the left, they are all working for the internet, the user that we are all. And we also have a relation with governments and all those elements. So government give advice to ICANN. They have seats at the ICANN board of directors. So we are going to have details on that when my colleague Yaobi from ICANN will discuss about ICANN. And we also have Internet Society, that is another key element of the internet ecosystem. And Internet Society is also working for the development of internet. And we are going to have a presentation about Internet Society today as well. We also have the internet service providers that are also important in our internet ecosystem, because they are the ones that give internet access to the end user. So the areas here, we are going to focus on the regional internet registry because AFRINIC is one of them. And the IP address that you guys are using today to connect to this platform have been issued to your ended service provider by a regional internet registry. So if you are living in Cote d'Ivoire, for instance, and your internet service provider is Orange or MTN or Move, as soon as you are using their internet, the IP address to connect to the internet, this means that you are using RIR services, because RIR is giving resources to internet service provider for you guys to be able to connect to internet. Now let's see the RIR system evolution. So in 1981, we have the central registry. At this time, we didn't have any regional internet registry. So the first regional internet registry have been created in 1992. After that, we have RIPE and CC and AFRINIC. So those are the area per region. So ARIN is for North America. RIPE and CC is nope. RIPE and CC was the first. So there is a typo in this slide. Yes, I need to clarify that. So RIPE and CC was the first. RIPE and CC was the first. So ARIN was created in 1997. So here we have ARIN. So this is a typo that has to be fixed now, and I will do the update before to share the slide. So AFRINIC is here. AFRINIC is here. So this is important for you to note. This is important for you. So ARIN is not here. So RIPE and CC was the first. RIPE and CC was the first, and has been created in 1992. Okay, so RIPE was the first. So I apologize for this update. I need to fix that. So LECNIC came in 2002, and AFRINIC was the last one to come in 2005. But the question that we can ask now is that before AFRINIC come up, how IP resources were issued in Africa. So this is what we are going to explain now. So Africa was divided into three parts before AFRINIC was born. Africa was divided into three parts. So this part was managed by RIPE and CC. This one was managed by ARIN, and this one, Indian Ocean, was managed by AFRINIC. So this means that before AFRINIC, when one organization in Africa want to get IP address, they have to be ARIN policy compliant, they have to be RIPE policy compliant, or they have to be AFRINIC policy compliant. And reality were not the same. So those are the points that take the African community to say that we need our own regional and registry. And those are some of the reasons that take us to create our own regional internet registry. So they need to address our own need, because the way that addresses are issued in Europe or in America are not the same. The reality are not the same. The size of the organization, for instance, in Europe or in America or in Asia are not the same as the size of the organization in Africa. And we also have the policy development, because they create the policy to address the needs. And since we were not in the heart of their needs, most of the time we were not policy compliant. So those are the points that take our community, the African community, to push to have their own regional internet registry. So today, the area system today is composed by 5 areas. So we have AFRINIC now to Africa and Indian Ocean. We have LACNIC for Latin America, ARIN for North America, and AFRINIC for Asia and Pacific. So right now, these are the 5 areas that the key role is to manage and issue IP addresses and autonomous system numbers. So IP addresses, we have IPv4 and IPv6. So my colleague James will give you updates on those resources in our region. And we also have autonomous system numbers that are the 3 internet number resources that their regional internet registries are managing for their own region. Now let's focus on the Africa internet ecosystem. So the Africa internet ecosystem is made by organization that we are calling AF-Stars. And during the AIS meeting, we are going to have a day dedicated to AF-Stars. So AF-Stars are basically organizations that the name starts by AF. So you see most of them start by AF. You have AFRINIC for numbers, Africa Sept for security, Africa Government Working Group for community and policy, AFRIN for research and education, AFP for infrastructure, FTLD for domain name, AFNOG for capacity building. So all those organizations are called AF-Star. But you have to notice that even if an organization name doesn't start by AF and this organization is active in the internet ecosystem in Africa, they're also part of this ecosystem. So we can have like ICANN. ICANN has a regional bureau in Africa. So ICANN is part of their African internet ecosystem. We have ISOC Internet Society with their country chapter. So ISOC is also part of the internet ecosystem. We have ITU with its Africa Bureau, which is also part of their African internet ecosystem. We have their many other organizations like Regulator Organization, ICT Regulators Organization of Africa, of the West Africa, etc., etc. So all those organizations are also part of their African internet ecosystem because they are working to ensure that we develop internet and we secure and we have an open internet in Africa. So AF-Stars are organizations that start by AF, but they're not the only organization that are active in the internet ecosystem. This is very important. Now let's see their roles that the AF-Star stakeholders have toward the community. So Africa Working Group, we have basically regulators and governments. So we are going to talk about it later in the African Initiative, but this is the platform. It's an initiative that we have where we discuss with governments and regulators. We have also AFRIN, and that is we are talking about internet, the bandwidth, the access to internet. So we have universities, high school, colleges, and most of they are working to them to on the bandwidth to get access to universities and have good bandwidth in the university and colleges. We have AFPIF, where we are talking about internet exchange point. We are talking about quality of internet, how to enhance the internet quality in Africa. And we have AFRINIC, that is the network platform where we are. But basically, the core function is to manage the IP address, IPv6, and autonomous system numbers for Africa region. And we have AFNOG for capacity building, and we have FTLD for country code top domain level, and we have Africa Sept that deal with security. And all those elements, all those stakeholders are working for the community that we are all. This is what I wanted to say for the internet ecosystem. So I have described that. I said that the internet ecosystem, this term that is here to talk about all the elements, all the organizations that are working to ensure that internet is developed and internet is safe. And we are see that in the internet ecosystem, we have many elements. We have big organizations like ICANN, ISOC. We have standard organization. We have numbers organization like RIRs. We have also the users. We have many stakeholders, and they are all working together to ensure that end user can have good internet access. And after that, we have talked about regional internet registries. And we say that the core function is to issue IP address, IPv4 address, and IPv6 addresses and autonomous system number to their region of service. And we also talk about the Africa ecosystem. and we saw the element. We talked about AF stars, and we also talk about organizations that are active in Africa on the internet-related matters, and we also explain why we have created AFRINIC. So I don't know if we have some question on this first section. Susan, I can't see the chat, but you can tell me if you have question. If not, I will continue to the next one.
Open for questions. Should you need to speak, just raise your hand.
Do you have questions? So I will leave the full mode and yeah.
One question from Lucien.
Okay, thank you. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
You please proceed with it. Introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you. My name is Chirushi Kalunda Lucien from DRC in Lubumbashi Township. So I would like to know, after explanation of AFRINIC and the health things, okay, I would like to know why our ecosystem doesn't have the same price for access internet. Because here in Congo, we've noticed that the price for access internet is so high, up more than other countries. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Lucien. Okay. Before Bryce, you answer, I think, do we have any more questions? There's a question from Kathy Jayak. She's asking, how do you address the problem of connectivity in rural areas?
Okay.
How?
Okay.
Any other question? Anyone can raise up their hands. There is an icon for raising up your hand, and then you can ask your question. I think, Bryce, you can proceed. Oh, we have one more.
Yes,
sorry, we have one more.
Let me start that. This one is very easy. So the economic community is in the user community. So we have the I will share the slide to you. I hide some part of the slide that were very detailed with all the stakeholders. So for the purpose of time, I just hide those parts. But when you will receive the full material, you will see where the economic community is. So don't worry, they are part of the internet ecosystem. So for the second question, how do we address problem of connectivity in rural area? Okay, so in most of the country, governments or regulators get money from internet service providers for what we are calling universal service. So it's in charge of each country to ensure that this money that is collected from the internet service provider and mobile operators is used to connect the unconnect, because that's the goal of this money. That's the goal of the tax that are taken from their mobile operators and internet service provider in every single country. So this money must be used to connect the unconnect. So like for rural areas and all, government must put in place a policy to help and encourage the mobile operators toward this money to invest in those rural areas, because we have to remember that mobile operator and internet service provider, they want to make money, so they won't do it for free. We must help them, and the government have a key role to play here. So for the question of Henri from Congo, according to the high cost of internet there, so internet it's not simple. So we have what we are calling the internet backbone. That's the first step when we want to create internet. And in most of the African country, we have issue with the backbones. The countries don't have real infrastructure in place. So this makes it very expensive for internet service provider or mobile operators to give internet at a very low price, low cost, because there's no infrastructure. So they have to invest a lot of money in infrastructure. Here as well, government can also help. Government can also assist by doing some good policy, for instance, reduce taxes to help them to invest in the infrastructure, in the backbone of the country, because with that backbone, we cannot have low internet prices. So this is not something very easy, but you can also liaise with us after the meeting. We can help you. We can come in your country and discuss with the government, discuss with the internet service provider, mobile operator, to see how together we can help you to make a change. We have done that in many countries, like in Chad. We've done that in Chad. So today they are seeing some good, result on what we have done on this particular matter. So this is what I want to say. But if later on we want us to elaborate on it, I'll be glad to continue.
Is not
every internet
so
service provider.
We have two more questions from the chat. There is
Okay.
someone from by the name Angela. In the internet ecosystem, where does the economic communities fit in?
Yes, I have responded to that one. I have responded to that one. I have responded to that one.
And Elvis asks, are every internet service provider in Africa under the AFRINIC organization? And if the ISP is not registered under AFRINIC, are there any consequences?
Well, you have to, for Elvis, the internet service provider makes money. They make money from internet. And if you want to connect your customer to internet, you need IP numbers, you need autonomous system numbers. When you are AFRINIC member, you get those resources at a very low cost. So you just pay your membership fee and you use these IP resources that belong to the community. So you use them as soon as you are AFRINIC member. When you are not AFRINIC member, you have to pay for those resources. And this is going to increase the internet access. Your services are going to be very expensive, and they can't be competitive in the market where the other organizations are AFRINIC members, because you are going to have the same expenditure on the network, on devices, but on top of that, you are going to pay more for your IP resources when the others are not going to pay for that. So you can't be competitive if you are not AFRINIC member and you want to operate in internet ecosystem. So this is for Elvis. Okay, so
further questions.
So I will move to the next. No, it's not. No. It's not mandatory. It's not mandatory for an internet service provider to be AFRINIC member. It's not mandatory at all. Okay, so I think we are good now. All right. Okay, now let's continue to. Okay, maybe one of my colleagues will send you the. Okay. We still have questions. Let me take these last two, and we'll move to the next presentation to save time. And at the end, if you have some minutes, we'll take more questions. Okay, so the IP right now in the market, you can have the price of one IPv for address. It's around like $20 or more. Okay, one IPv for address, $20 or more. And if you are AFRINIC member, it's like almost nothing. So maybe one of my colleagues can take the paste the link for the membership fee here. If you can help Susan, if you can take and copy and paste the link of membership, so that J. will see how much is the membership per category of IPs that you are using. Is very, very, very cheap. Oh, thank you, James. So we have you can just click on this link, you'll see the membership fee. So for another question is, does it mean that those ISP can connect? Okay, so remember that I said RIR means regional internet registry. So they operate per region. So if you are in Africa region and you say that, okay, I don't want to connect, I don't want to be AFRINIC member, and I prefer, for instance, to be RIPE NCC member, you won't be eligible because you must be in RIPE region. As soon as you are not in RIPE region, you are not eligible to be a RIPE member. So it's regional. So you must be part of the area of your region. If you're in Africa, then you have to go to AFRINIC. Hope it's clear. Okay, thank you. Now we continue to the second session. Now we are going to talk about AFRINIC. So we are going to talk to have learned the roles of AFRINIC, the list of the services we are giving, and we are going to explain also explain how AFRINIC is governed. So we just said that we have 5 regional internet registry, and AFRINIC is one of them. So now let's focus on AFRINIC. AFRINIC was created in 2005. It's a non-for-profit organization. We have like 1,000 and more than 1,800 members. Full-time staff, we are over 45. The HQ is in Mauritius, and we have our main data center in South Africa. We are working right now. Our IT department is working to create more data center, like in east of Africa, and also in the west of Africa, in the north as well. So we are working to ensure that we are available in each region. Our vision is be the leading force in growing the internet for Africa's sustainable development. This is our vision. Our mission is to serve the African community by providing professional and efficient management of internet number technology usage and development, and promoting internet self-governance. So our core values: community-driven, operational excellence, passion, innovation, and creativity. So those 3 points can be seen also on our website, and we want to ensure that our vision, our mission, our core value are represented in every single thing we are doing for you, our community. The AFRINIC governance. So AFRINIC is governed by we have the board of directors. The board of directors of AFRINIC have 9 seats. So we have 1 seat per region. We have North, West, Indian Ocean, Central Africa, Southern Africa, and Eastern Africa. So these are the first 6 sites. And we have 2 sites that are non-regional. And we have the last site, the last seat, the seat 9, that is for the CEO. So the board of directors is composed of 9 elected seats and 1 appointed seat, because the board of directors will recruit the CEO, and the CEO will recruit its staff. So my contract and the contract of my colleagues have been signed by the CEO. Okay, and the board of directors have many committees that help them to work. So we have the audit committee, we have the finance committee, we have the remuneration committee, we have the technical committee. So the board members works in each of those committees. Some of them are working in each of those communities to help committees to help around AFRINIC. We also have the Council of Elders, that the key role is to give advices to the CEO and to the board, the chair of the board, or all of them if need be. We also have the nomination committee. Nomination committee, we are going to talk about the nomination committee later on, but they basically select potential candidates for all the elections that AFRINIC will have. We also have the members, AFRINIC members. We are going to talk about the AFRINIC members. So some of the members can vote to elect the board of directors. And we have the election committee, that the key role is to organize the election, and they have to be AFRINIC staff. And we have also the governance committee, that the role is to advise the entire AFRINIC committee, AFRINIC boards, members, and the community, and any corporate governance matters. So these are the elements of the AFRINIC governance. Now let's go back to the AFRINIC current members. So these are the information that I just available on our website, so you can also go there and check, okay, to see. So those are the seats and the name of the person. So we are right now the new CEO, which is Eddie. Okay, so the other members are the board members, and we can see this information on AFRINIC website. We are going to have election on some sites, or mini sites, or mini cities, sorry, during this meeting. So if you have applied or if you are been selected to run, good luck. AFRINIC membership. We have 3 types of members at AFRINIC. We have the resource members. So resource members must be legal entity. Okay, they sign contract with AFRINIC. They use number resources. They pay annual membership fee. They elect board. They can also be observer. So resource members are most of the time the internet service providers, mobile operators, and banks, factories that want to use public IPs for run their network, or organizations that are making money from internet, like internet service provider, mobile operators. So most of the time, they are the ones that are resource members. We also have the registered members. The registered members are the board of directors. So the CEO is a registered member, and all the other board of directors are also registered members. They are individual, okay, and they also sign contract with AFRINIC, and they can also vote to elect board of director and key observer if they want to. The last type of membership is associate member, that they are not obliged to be an organization, even though they can also be organization, but individual can also be associate member. And they sign also contract with AFRINIC, and they are also paying annual fee, but they can't vote. They can't vote to elect the board of directors. They can only be observer during the annual general members meeting. So these are the 3 types of members that we have at AFRINIC. AFRINIC community. So AFRINIC has its members and AFRINIC has its community. So AFRINIC community is made by individuals. Everyone that is interested in how AFRINIC is managing internet in Africa. So you don't oblige to be in Africa, regardless your where you are living. As soon as you want to, you are interested in how internet is managed in Africa, we welcome you in this community. So this community works over mailing lists, and they're the one that are working to create the resource policy. So what are the resource policies? Resource policies are rules that AFRINIC is using to issue the internet number resources. So all the rules that we are using to assign, to allocate IP numbers, those policies were designed by the community. So this is very important for you as African to be part of this community and ensure that the rules that will be created meet the needs of the African community. So we have AFRINIC the members, AFRINIC the community. So it's very important. We have 2 separate elements that are very important for AFRINIC. We also have the AFRINIC community meeting. So AFRINIC must hold at least 1 meeting per year. Okay, and in this meeting, we can have the annual general members meeting, and we also have the policy discussion, the public policy discussion. So we have these 2 key elements in AFRINIC meeting, and next week we are going to have AGMM and policy discussion. So I invite you, since it's your first meeting, to do your homework, read before we start the meeting on Monday, and to ensure that everything you won't be lost. So we are going to ensure that you won't be lost. If you have questions, you can email us. We'll help you to take you through all this information. Now let's talk about the community. We have the committee. We have the nomination community. The nomination community is composed of a chairman and 3 members appointed by the board. Chairman and three members appointed by the board. The qualification is to, as I just said, is to screen the potential candidate for all the election that AFRINIC will hold in this region. So the main responsibility is going, as I said, find candidates that respect the requirement, etc., etc. So nomination committee is appointed by the board. So it's very important. So if you want to be part of this committee when the call is open, you are free to apply, and the nominees will be sent to the community. So this is very important for the election process at AFRINIC level. We have the election committee. The election committee is staff only, so it's just to organize the election. So there is nothing active in the election itself per se. So there are staff that are appointed by the CEO, and they have to ensure that everything is ready. If you have to use online platform, for instance, in this particular time, the election committee will ensure that the online platform is ready for e-voting and all the other type of votes. And the communication was sent. Communication was sent about how we can vote during this AIS. So I hope that we're aware and you are ready to do your vote. So this is the role of election committee. It's not active, it's just passive, it's just organizing the election. We have the governance committee, and the governance committee are made up by like minimum 6 members. So we have 2 members appointed by the board and 3 members are elected by their members, AFRINIC membership. We have 1 board member who is not voting, who is appointed by the board as liaison. Is going to be a liaison person between the governance committee and the board of directors. And also we can appoint at least one or 2 members, like to be at the secretariat for this governance committee. They are elected during the AGMM, and the main responsibility is to advise AFRINIC board, AFRINIC membership on corporate governance matters. So this is the role of the governance committee. We have now the Council of Elders. So the Council of Elders is made of former CEOs, and the maximum is 6. And the main responsibility is to advise the chair, the CEO of the entire board of directors, if need be. So their advisor, they have the board of the CEO takes their advice into consideration when if need be, when we want to decide in a given matter or a given problem with the community. Now we are going to talk about the policy development process, the policy development working group, which is one of the most active group of Melinists in AFRINIC region. So the policy development working group has 2 chairs. So they are co-chairs, so they have equal responsibility. There is no one who has power compared to another one. So we have co-chair. Okay. So the nomination committee is going to screen the candidates, and the members are going to elect the community member are going to elect the co-chairs. So for this particular election, you don't need to be AFRINIC members to be able to vote. You have to be a community member active in the community to be able to vote. It's open to the community, okay, for them to vote. So election will be organized by the AFRINIC staff, the election committee that is appointed by the CEO. The CEO also appoints a policy liaison. So it's my colleague Madvi Gokul. She's going to give you an update of the policy discussion later on. So you are going to know her, and she's the one who is the policy liaison. We also have the appeal committee that is appointed by the board, and appeal committee is called when a policy have been validated by the board, the co-chairs, not by the board, by the co-chairs, and the community members want to know more about the reason why this policy have been validated by the co-chairs. So the appeal committee is there to be used for this particular purpose. Now let's talk about the services that we provide at AFRINIC. So we have the capacity building. The core function is IP allocation. So this is the core function of regional internal registry, and AIS autonomy system number assignment. Those are the core functions. But next to those functions, we have to maintain the WIS database. We have to facilitate the development of policy. We have to maintain the reverse DNS for our members. And we have the community development. That is very, very important as well. We need to engage with our community to ensure that they know what we are doing and to ensure that we are doing what they want us to do for them. We also have capacity building, which is very important for the community. And these are elements that we are also working hard on so that the community will be skilled enough to maintain and to run their network in Africa. So AFRINIC communicates with its community over mailing list. So I urge you to register to those mailing lists. So I know it's very important to receive all the updates from AFRINIC. RPD if you want to follow discussion on policies. IPv6 if you want to follow discussion on IPv6, African internet governance in Africa. Community discourse is any internet related matters, and member discourse is a closed list reserved to AFRINIC members only. So this is a closed list. This is why I put a padlock on it. So community member cannot simply join this list. You must be AFRINIC member before to be able to join this list. So I urge you to connect. So this is the direct link to this list. So when the material will be shared with you, you can click on this link and register to those mailing lists that are free for you to join. AFRINIC contact now if you want to email us, if you want to talk to us, if you want to go to our HQ to meet the staff. Those are the different contacts that we have to contact to talk about AFRINIC. Now I'm going to do another break here to take some questions before to move to the next session. So basically I talked about AFRINIC as a regional internet registry, and I also talk about the AFRINIC ecosystem that is made by its member and its community, and I also talk about how AFRINIC is governed. So I say that we have the board of directors, and we have 9 seats, and all the other elements, the committees that are put in place to help AFRINIC to play its role in Africa. And we end with how to participate to the AFRINIC discussion. We have the mailing list. Also, we have the services that we are providing to the community. So the last part will be the AFRINIC initiative to the community. So right now, if you have some questions, I will take them, and we will continue. I think that we should have some time for questions. So Susan, you have the floor if you have some questions. So I take them and we'll continue.
There was a question that came in some time back. I'm trying to get them. First one is from Angela. I'll give you as many as possible so that you can be able to cover.
Okay.
Yeah. Are there countries that are on the borderline and qualify for more than one IRR? This is from Angela.
Mm-hmm.
There was a question of the annual fees. How much is the annual fees for the individual and corporate members as associate members? I think there's a previous link that has been posted on the chat. But please cover it for the people following us on YouTube.
Oh, okay? Yes. So maybe I will
just mention where they can find this information and all that.
Yeah. Maybe I can let me. Okay, I'll do that. So yes, for the question about countries that can. Arthur told me that he has responded. Yes. So I mean, in the actual response, he said that in the island region, for instance, in the Indian Ocean, we have some countries that are member of 2 RIRs. Because, for instance, if you take Seychelles, if you take La Réunion is part of the France, but France is member of RIP and CC, but La Réunion is also in Africa, in AFRINIC regional service. So you see that when you are living in La Réunion, you can also be member in RIP and CC and be member in AFRINIC. So because of this particular, the location and their affiliation. And the other question is the membership. So what I will do is, I don't know, for those who are following on YouTube, they can see the video. So I will maybe open the link. And I don't know, maybe I have to stop sharing what I'm sharing now and show them the link so that they will see the membership fees for the
there are
membership.
some, as you do that, there are some 2 questions that have been lined up. We still
Okay.
have I will go with Jean
Okay.
Binemo and then
Okay.
Lucien. So a minute each, please. Thank you. John? Hello?
Allô, allô, allô?
Yes, please proceed.
Bonjour. C'est Gaylor Binemo depuis Lubumbashi en RDC. Je voulais juste avoir une précision sur la gouvernance parce que je n'ai pas bien compris comment AFRINIC est en train de régler toutes les questions liées à des équilibres, des déséquilibres sur la connectivité en Afrique et surtout beaucoup plus en Afrique centrale. C'est là que je n'ai pas bien compris.
Okay. The question was asked in French, so I will respond in French as well. So for the translation, for the interpreters, we ask the community to download the app. I think Bavna help them to ensure that they have the translation. Ok, alors AFRINIC n'intervient pas dans la politique interne des pays, de la politique interne des régions. AFRINIC a un rôle de conseiller. Ok, donc la disparité dans le coût de Internet n'est pas forcément du ressort d'AFRINIC parce que, comme je l'ai dit tantôt, il y a des prérequis à l'accès à Internet et chaque pays est libre de mener ces politiques-là. AFRINIC donne des conseils, ok, dans l'implémentation de ces politiques-là. Par exemple, j'ai parlé de services universels. Dans la plupart des pays du monde entier, les fournisseurs de services Internet, les opérateurs mobiles payent ce qu'on appelle une taxe pour les services universels. Ces taxes sont payées à l'État et c'est à l'État d'utiliser ces taxes-là pour construire des infrastructures et faire en sorte que tout le pays soit connecté. Aussi, il y a des politiques qui peuvent être mises en œuvre. Par exemple, lorsque un État passe un contrat de la réalisation d'une route, l'État peut demander à l'opérateur de passer en même temps de la fibre optique. Donc, c'est vraiment des politiques internes et AFRINIC vient en tant que conseiller. Donc, quand je parlais de venir en appui, c'est venir en tant que conseiller, donner des conseils, échanger avec ces pays-là des bonnes expériences qui ont eu lieu dans d'autres pays et qui pourraient aider le pays à aller de l'avant. Donc, c'est un peu comme ça que AFRINIC aide ces pays-là aussi. On a aussi le développement des capacités. AFRINIC offre des formations gratuites à notre communauté dans tous les pays. Nous avons été au Congo, je crois, déjà une fois. J'étais moi-même présent pour une formation IPv6. Et donc, c'est un peu ces initiatives-là qu'AFRINIC mène sur le continent pour aider à améliorer la qualité d'Internet. J'espère que la réponse a été bien perçue maintenant. Okay, maybe. Well, now, Bavna, can you assist? We have some, yes, Bavna, can you assist some delegates that want the translation, please? So, Susan, I want to share.
Just a minute.
So maybe you stop what?
I just have to make an announcement. So
okay,
we have our interpretation service, and it's done via an app. For those in the meeting platform, I will share, the link will be shared in the chat. But for those following us on YouTube and on Facebook, the link will be shared there as well. But then you download Interprify app, and then the code is AIS'20, AIS'20. It's available on Android and iOS. We will put the information on the chats in responding platforms. I will go to.
Susan, can you help me I want to share something quickly for those who are on YouTube. but I don't know how to do because I'm sharing the current what I'm okay. So I should go ahead now, right?
Share again.
Yeah, this is what I'm trying. Okay.
Bryce, you have two people with questions. Can we just take them and then you can be able to proceed with your sharing?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, three. I think I've closed.
Okay, yes, maybe you close the queue. So for those who are following us on YouTube, so this is the link for the resources. Okay, the membership fees. So the question was how much an associate member will pay. So these are the associate member fee. You have to click on associate member and you see the fee. So corporate organization are paying 1,000, corporate institution 2,500, corporate institution large 5,000, and individual 300. So if you are individual and you want to be an associate member, you are going to pay $300 per year. But note that to become an associate member, your application will be validated by the board of directors. So you have to wait until you get approved before you can proceed. For the resource membership fee, you have it here per type. So according to the number of IPs that you are using, here are the fees that you are paying. So you have to go to the AFRINIC website and you can see all those costs. They are just there. It's not a secret, so you can just go and check. Thank you. So Susan, can you help me to come back?
I help you to come back.
Yeah, to share my presentation now because. So yes, I have to stop the sharing. Yes. So now I ask again. Yeah. Okay. So you said we have two questions.
We have three questions. There is Christian,
okay.
There is KK, there is Lucien. I'll start with Christian.
Okay.
1 minute, please.
Yes, I'm waiting.
Christian? Okay.
Okay, I have some. The
KK
person is on the chat. Okay.
Okay, and then Lucien?
Thank you. My question is about services.
Could you please introduce yourself?
Okay, thank you. My name is again Chimushikano from DRC in Lubumbashi town. Okay, my question is about AFRINIC services. The first question is, does AFRINIC support fees for training? The second question, who are qualified for that? And the third one, why AFRINIC doesn't go to in a rural area? Thank you.
We go to Ibrahim.
Okay,
why don't I give you three questions and then so that we can capture them at a go.
Okay.
Ibrahim, please.
I mean, we have already three questions. So
they are now becoming many on my end.
This is so maybe you close the queue, or maybe I think that we can have time at the end before we will go to the break to take more questions. So
okay.
I will take some and I will proceed and take the order at the end. So the question was, I didn't get the type of training he was talking about, but AFRINIC trainings are open to all. Right now, we have I'm going to talk about it in the next presentation. What's the AFRINIC initiative? So maybe you are going to see. AFRINIC trainings are open to all, not to members only. They are open to all. So there is no reason for us to deny anyone to have access to our training. But for some technical training, we must have a technical background. This is why we do screen before to come to let you enter our workshop, because they are very technical. This reservoir for some training, we must do a screening for let people in, because some might take, you know, because some are not technical, the class is lagging behind, or some are lagging behind, and you have to explain, etc., etc. So for particular training, we have to screen. And AFRINIC goes everywhere as soon as we got invited, but we cannot come to see only 2 persons or 3 persons. So when we want to work with a local organization that we are calling local host, if you want us to come, for instance, in your region, you have to organize it. You have to organize AFRINIC arrival in your region. You have to do the comms and work with our comms team and the department who is going to come to ensure that we are going to take the maximum of AFRINIC activity in this country. So we don't have any problem coming with rural area. As soon as we got invited, we'll come. So this have to it's don't worry about that. So I think that Arthur is taking some questions in the chat. So a question is maybe, okay, let me take that one. Can you explain how can individual become AFRINIC member? So AFRINIC has 3 types of members. We have the resource members. Resource members are only dedicated for organization based in Africa. So individual cannot be a resource member, but individual can be a registered member. Registered members are board of directors and the CEO. If you are being appointed as CEO, you are going to become a registered member who is an AFRINIC member as well. If you are elected as one of the directors, you are going to be a registered member as well. Now we have associate member. You can become associate member. You just have to send your request to AFRINIC, and we are going to forward your request to the board of directors, and they are going to decide if you are eligible. If you are eligible, then you are going to be an associate member. So as individual, you can be registered members and associate member, but not resource member. So Arthur has responded to Chloe. So I think I can move to the last presentation.
We have
Susan,
2.
can you confirm?
We have two
okay,
participants.
Please. Yes,
there's
tell me.
John and KK.
Okay.
So we start with John. John, it's your turn to speak.
Je disais que ce Guélor Binemo en démocratie du Congo, de Lubumbashi, précisément à Mokambo, 15 km de Zambie. Je voulais que Ibrahim me précise, parce que AFRINIC organise des formations gratuites. Si vous regardez l'étendue de la République démocratique, une seule fois la formation pour IPv6, je me pose la question, est-ce que AFRINIC a mis en place les possibilités de diffusion de ces formations au niveau des terrains? Ça, c'est un. La deuxième précision, s'il y a un système d'éducation, comment y faire pour que pour moi-même, quand je vous rassure, je parle ici, dans les milieux où je me retrouve, c'est la première fois que les gens voient quelqu'un participer à une réunion en ligne et c'est du miracle pour eux. C'est du miracle pour eux. Du coup, je me pose la question, les formations sur IPv6 peuvent être dupliquées localement ou il faut attendre toujours AFRINIC?
Okay, so I'll take that question and we'll take the second one. Okay, alors, les formations AFRINIC, comme j'ai dit tantôt, les formations AFRINIC, comme j'ai dit tantôt, sont gratuites pour tout le monde. Et on n'a pas forcément besoin qu'AFRINIC soit présent. Pour que les formations soient accessibles partout, nous avons mis en place une plateforme de e-learning. Donc, cette plateforme de e-learning, je vais en parler tout à l'heure. Donc, vous allez voir que il suffit que vous ayez Internet, vous allez pouvoir vous connecter et bénéficier de toutes les ressources dont vous avez besoin. Alors, depuis quelques années, nous avons effectivement arrêté les formations face à face. Nous avons arrêté les formations face à face pour se concentrer sur la mise en place de cette plateforme de e-learning qui donne déjà accès à pas mal de personnes. Et on va maintenant sélectionner les pays qui ont vraiment besoin de la présence d'AFRINIC pour les formations. Donc, pour les formations, je vous rassure, en AFRINIC n'a pas forcément besoin d'être là. Donc, on peut faire des formations en ligne. Et puis, il y a une plateforme en ligne pour les formations dont je vais parler tout à l'heure. Alors, je pense que j'ai couvert les 2 questions. Susan, maybe we take the last one.
I'll take the last one from KK. KK, you can speak now.
Okay. Maybe the mic is, can you unmute your, I don't know what.
I have unmuted him, he's not speaking.
Okay, maybe we continue, we proceed so that we can have some minutes at the end.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Susan. All right. Now we are going to talk about AFRINIC initiatives. That is the last part of my presentation. So AFRINIC is a regional internet registry, but even if the core business is to manage internet number resources and all the elements that surrounding this, those internet number resources, that is reverse DNS, the WHOIS database and all. We also have some services that we are giving to the community. So I'm going to focus on stakeholder engagement initiative, research and innovation, and capacity building. So stakeholder engagement has 3 key points. The first point is the community development. So in the community development, we have what we are calling the fellowship program. So fellowship program is one of our biggest programs that we have at AFRINIC. So for around 15 seats, we have like 2,000 applications. So basically in this program, we are giving fellowship to delegates, to individuals come to physically come to an AFRINIC meeting. So we take them, we take care of the air ticket, their accommodation, and we give them stipend to stay in our meeting, and we are taking them to all what we are doing, and we get them familiar with AFRINIC ecosystem. We have also the FIRE program that is that the link is here. So basically, we give some funds for our community to work on the project that have been eligible, that was selected during the call. So this is what we are doing in the FIRE program. We have ICT event sponsorship. So if you are organizing an event in your country and you need some financial help, AFRINIC can also assist you, and you also give AFRINIC some speaking slots, and so that we can give you, you can talk to your community, and this is the win-win situation. We give you sponsoring, and you give us the chance to talk to your community about AFRINIC and what we do. We also have the an initiative called Community Renewed. So the goal of this initiative is to boost to the contact, the relationship that AFRINIC has with its members and its community. So we want to take this relationship to another level. So this is what we have under the Community Renewed, and we have AFRINIC public meetings. That is what we are doing now. It's a platform where AFRINIC is discussing with its community. And we also have capacity building workshops that we are doing online because of COVID. And this year we done a lot. We did a workshop with Internet Society, with ICANN, with Facebook, with IGF in Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, with Africa, IGF, West Africa. So yeah, we are very present with our community in Africa. So this for community development. So stakeholder engagement has also have the government engagement. So basically it's an initiative where we discuss with government and regulators on most of the ICT related topics. So I've just highlighted some points here. And we also have the Africa Government Working Group that is very important for the government, because it's a closed network, it's a closed platform where government discuss directly with AFRINIC according to the issue that they are having in their country related to internet and ICT development and all. So it's very important for you as participant, if you are working with a government and you are not part of this AFRINIC Government Working Group, please live with us on the chat. We can give you the link to read and see if you are eligible, and we can make you part of this community. So those are the elements that we are doing in the government engagement. So as the slide will be shared, you can read. It's just the different points that you can read. The last point is cooperation and development. So as a regional internet registry, we cannot stay only in Africa. We have to cooperate with all the other organizations that are active in their internet community. So in the cooperation development, we are working with many organizations like ITU, ARISPA, Internet Society, Smart Africa, African Union, all those organizations who are working together. We are signing MOUs to ensure that our cooperation has a legal base. So, and we are all working to ensure that internet is developed in Africa, internet is open in Africa, and we're also working to improve the user experience on internet. So these are the goal behind those three key elements that the stakeholder engagement is doing. After the stakeholder engagement, we have the research and innovation. Research and innovation, we have research areas. So those are the points that are here. So internet technical, internet usage, internet resilience, internet standard, internet policy and governance. So basically, if you are a student, for instance, and you are working in one on those topic, you can liaise with us, and we'll see how we can work together. You can even have an internship with the Department of Research and Innovation, and you can work together on the project that will benefit our community. So we are going to be again in a win-win situation. We are going to give you financial support for you to be able to work in a good condition and to provide and to be able to create and give a good document, a good search result out of your internship at AFRINIC. So after the research areas, we also have some initiative from research and innovation. We have the M project, Africa Internet Measurements. That the goal is to ensure that we can tell to the entire community how internet is used in Africa. It's very important for Africa to be able to tell this to the community, because when we want to talk about traffic, most of the time you are going to go to the other platform, not only AFRINIC. So we are working now to make it available in Africa for Africa. We also have the Africa Research Collaboration, that the ACT project, that if you want to work with AFRINIC on a research project, and those are the topics that are here, you can also liaise with us, and we'll see how we can collaborate to make it happen. We also have Higher Africa, that is the fund that we are giving to the small organizations, small community that have a project, but they need some money, they need some fund to make it to take it to the end. We are going to also help them to take their project to the end. We are giving them training, and we are taking them through their own project and ensure that it becomes reality. The last point is the capacity building initiative. So capacity building has many projects. So the one of them, the e-learning. So we have now a platform where we can train yourself on IP technologies. So there's the link here. If you need some knowledge on IP, you just have to connect to this platform. You will see that we have a lot of courses that you can take for free. And we also have 36. That is a platform that was created for you to prove that you can do things in IPv6. So you can get a certification that is IPv6 ready. That have the IPv6 ready logo. So you have to you take the exam, and when you are okay, when you pass your exam, you can be certified IPv6. We have many levels, and so if you connect to the website, you will see that we have the different levels that we have on the IPv6 certification. We also have webinars. So since last year, we have started doing a lot of webinars because it covers much more people compared to the face-to-face meeting. So we've taken webinars as one of the key activity of the capacity building team. We also have the DOF there. So one of our pillars at AFRINIC is to help our Africa to adopt IPv6. So to do that, we did a lot of workshop, but our community tell us that they need us to take them step by step to deploy IPv6. So this is why we have set up the DOF there. So if in an organization you want to deploy IPv6 and you're not confident enough to do it, you can connect to this link, and we are going to take you through the process. We also have eDeployathon to provide remote guidance to you. When you are deploying IPv6 and you are having a challenge, you can participate to the eDeployathon, and you just tell us where you have your challenge, and we are going to help you to take it to the end. So these are the 3 departments that I wanted to highlight it here, but note that AFRINIC has more than 3 departments. We have IT, we have comms, we have dev team, and they are doing the also jobs. So it's not only those 3 departments that we have at AFRINIC. And one of the key departments, the member service, because the key business, the core business of AFRINIC is to manage internal resources, and there's the one that is taking care of this particular part of the AFRINIC core business. Now we are at the end, and I hope that it was informative, and now we can go for the questions. So we basically talk about, I decided to talk about 3 departments: stakeholder engagement, that organize fellowship, that talk to government, that sign MOUs with organization to ensure that the internet to ensure that internet development is continuing in Africa. We also talk about research and innovation. When we want to talk about measurement, those are the team that you need to talk to. And if you want to build your knowledge, if you want to be skilled enough to run your network properly, we have also the capacity building department with all the initiatives that I've just discussed with you. So thank you, and I'm now waiting for your questions. So Susan, you have the floor.
Thank you, Bryce. First of all, thank you, Arthur, for responding to questions on the chat. But it would have been nice if these questions were read out also for our audiences in other platforms so that they don't miss out. But anyway, moving on swiftly. If you have any questions, please come to the, I will take Feli's question as we go along. Feli, 1 minute, please. Feli, can you hear me? Hello? Hello, Feli? Okay.
So by the time Feli come up, we have the question about the presentation. So don't worry, all the presentation will be made available on the website. So you'll have the soft copy.
Okay. There is Joshua. Joshua, can you hear us?
Good morning. My name is Joshua James Onu. Please, I would like to know, as a non-profit organization which AFRINIC is, how do they generate their revenue? Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for your question.
This from membership fee, and from some donors, from some sponsoring that we are receiving from some organization. So this is basically our main source of revenue: membership fees and donors sponsoring.
Okay. Have Elvis.
Oh, apparently people have some issue on the on the chat. They can't see. Okay, so my colleagues are working on it. Apparently we have some issue. Delegates have some issue to see the screen being shared. So we apologize for that, but the team is working to get it fixed.
Elvis, please proceed.
Okay, I would like to ask a question in regards to the capacity building.
Sorry, could you please introduce yourself? And
sorry, my name is Elvis. My name is Elvis, and I'm from Nigeria. My country of origin is Nigeria. Okay, so my question has to deal with the capacity building, and which I think is a very nice approach for the AFRINIC to do. But in regards to the e-learning, does the person have to have like some kind of background knowledge us background knowledge in regards to IP technologies? Do you need some kind of background knowledge in order to participate in this e-learning platform that is being created by the AFRINIC, or can you just participate in this e-learning program without any form of any background knowledge?
Thank
Okay,
you
so
for your question.
Yeah.
We go to the second. We go to the second
Okay,
question.
Okay.
Akisibe.
Oh, okay. Hello. My name is Akisibe Abdallah from Uganda. I need to ask the question from capacity building about e-learning. Can anyone participate in that e-learning platform, or anyone? Or until maybe you are a member of African, or maybe you are in an organization? That is my question.
Okay, maybe I'll take these two before we move forward.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. For the first question, so for it's let's say it can be like common sense for you to take part of the course that you are not very familiar with, to have a minimum of a background. For some particular topic, you need to have a background, because if you connect to the e-learning and you start looking at the courses, you will realize that you are lost. Meaning that you need some background, but this platform is open. So I mean, that is responding to the second question as well. It's open for everyone, everywhere. You just have to register, and it's free. So even if you don't have the background, the required background, you can even connect and follow. But if you realize that you need some background, then you are going to check, because for each module we put the prerequisite and the background. So you think that you meet the prerequisite and the background, then you welcome to the course. If you realize at the end that you not really meet the prerequisite, then you need to go back and ensure that you have the prerequisite. So this is what I would like to say. Now I have my colleague from capacity building who is there, unless you want to add something, but I think for those questions we are good.
We are good. Thank you, Bryce.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I would like to, in the chat, we have put the Interprefy link where you can get
Download
the interpretation services, as well as downloading the app. And Bryce, we move to the next session.
Okay, yes. Well, right now we are supposed to take some minutes to refresh, and we can save like some minutes. So I see that Yaobi is is ready, is there. So maybe we take 10 minutes. So maybe we will resume at 10:30. So let's take 7 minutes to refresh, have some tea if need be, and we go. What do you think about that, Susan? Want to proceed?
Okay, that's fine. We take a
so
break.
Yeah, get ready to start by 10:30. So we'll have some more minutes that can be used by Abiyadi at the end to take the newcomers to what is an AFRINIC meeting.
Okay.
So thank you. If you have questions, we can still take them in the background of the chat.
In the chat. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I requested to share my video.
Okay, can you try now? Let me accept. Yalvi? Hello?
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, so if you need to reconnect because I can still have my video on.
Okay.
Okay, let me disconnect and come back.
Okay. Yalvi, we can see you.
Now, I'll share my screen.
We can see you. Try to share your screen. Mm-hmm. Okay, we can see your screen.
Now we are perfect.
But we can't hear him. Yalvi, try audio
You need
again.
to unmute.
Yeah, you're muted.
Can you hear me now? Should be fine now.
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Sure.
Stefan, you would like to speak?
I need you to speak. Yaovi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, and I hope you are hearing me
Then
too.
we are set. I can hear you now. We are set.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we still have some minutes.
It's past time actually.
So you let me know when I should start, and then I'll go. Thank you.
Okay. I'll chat you. Yobi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, please proceed.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you can hear me and also you can see me. My name is Yaobi Tohun. I'm working from ICANN as Stakeholder Engagement and Operation Manager for Africa. And the past session, the previous session, I was on that one, and we have learned a lot. And I just also added in the chat before that we have also like an association. No, in the AF registrar. So I'll talk about ICANN Africa registrar. So what am I going to cover today in this presentation? What I'm going to cover, let me move to the next screen, next slide. I can't maybe move my slide easily. I don't know why. No, let me stop the chat, maybe. I'm still trying to figure out the issue with my screen not moving. Okay, let me stop sharing and maybe come back.
You need it. I see you're sharing a PDF, so I don't know if you're currently focused on the PDF, if the PDF window has the focus. Just try to click on it and then to scroll down.
Okay, so what I can do is still not moving yet. Very strange, but okay, let me stop and retry again. Sure. Okay, perfect. It's working now. What I'm going to cover in 20 minutes, so that we have at least 10 minutes to ask questions. I can in brief how the domain name system works, the new generic top-level domains, internationalized domain names, and universal acceptance of domain name. So there are few topics we want to cover for this brief session. So the mission of ICANN is to ensure that we have a stable and secure operation of the Internet's unique identifier system. We'll be sharing the slide with you with more information. So during this presentation, I'll just go through the main one so that you get the main messages from our presentation. You see number one, coordinate the allocation of assignment of names in the root zone of the domain name system. ICANN role is primarily technical role. Technical role ICANN is planning, so to be sure that Internet is working. So you have more information when we talk about the root zone. This is something technical, but just what you can keep is that the root zone is where you have information about the domain names, the top level domain name, and we talk about that. I want to move to the next slide, which is more focusing on what ICANN is doing. We mentioned unique identifier systems in the previous slide. We have the first column, what we call the protocol parameters. So ICANN is working closely with other organizations in the Internet ecosystem. You have ITU, and regarding the protocol parameters, we work closely with IETF, which is Internet Engineering Task Force. So there are protocols, parameters. So ICANN is working with other companies to maintain database of these parameters. The second one, the second column, you see names. So when we mention names, we want to talk about top-level domain names. Top-level domain names, like for this event, you have a domain name for the website. So you have many top-level domain names. You have .com, .org, .africa, etc. And then you have also .fr, .sn, .bj, etc. So these are top-level domain names where we have two categories. So one category is for countries, and the second category is for what we call the generic one. So we have two groups of top-level domain names, and the role ICANN is doing is to delegate the management to create or to set a domain name. That is the role of the ICANN top-level domain name, and then ICANN delegate this to what we call a registry. So the domain name is delegated to a registry. So after the top-level domain name is delegated, so the rest of the work to maybe assign names to people, to organizations, is done by what we call the registrar, who receive also a permission or accreditation from registry. We'll see that on another upcoming slide. And the numbers, we just heard about AFRINIC, and then the numbers are related to what we call the Internet protocol addresses, IP addresses, and what we call autonomous system numbers, ASN. So I can also give these resources to the number of resources to what we call the regional Internet registries, and AFRINIC is the one serving the Africa region. And ICANN was formed in 98 as a not-for-profit public benefit corporation with a community of participants from all over the world. So ICANN has today many regional offices that you can see now. At the beginning, we had also already the headquarters, which is in Los Angeles, but today you have regional offices, one in Brussels. Istanbul is the one covering the Middle East and Africa. So our office in Istanbul covers Africa and the Middle East. You have office in Montevideo in Singapore, and we have also what we call the engagement center. So the engagement center to be more close to the community worldwide, and our engagement center in Africa is located in Nairobi. So we are also having support even from the headquarters and also from the Istanbul office. So this is the way ICANN office are located today in the world. So the ICANN ecosystem is a bit special. When we talk about the ICANN ecosystem, you have what we call the community. The ICANN community is what is not the staff and also the board. So if I want to start by the organization, you will see in many documents today we mention ICANN.org. It's not ICANN.org, but ICANN organization, ICANN.org. So ICANN organization is where you have the staff. You have the staff, and because the staff is in charge of implementation, decision or policy approved by the ICANN board. So in the ICANN board, we have 16 seats, and one of the seats some years ago is for the community. So the seat number 16 is occupied by someone who is from the ICANN end users. I want to say end users, not the community. So the number 16 is for the end users. And the board role is, as you see, to approve policies. And where you have the communities now, if you don't have the organization, you don't have the board, you see the community. And this community is divided in two main groups. We have what we call the ICANN supporting organizations, and then we have what we call the ICANN advisory committees. So when we want to talk about the community, mainly we have these two groups, the advisory committees and the supporting organizations. So for the advisory committees, we have the one we call the Governmental Advisory Committee, GAC. And in the GAC, you have advisory committees. We have the one we call the Governmental Advisory Committee. I was having an echo. I think it's fine now from your end too. We have the GAC where we have representatives from government. We have the RSAC, which is for Root Server System Advisory Committee. And also we have the SSAC, which is the Security and Stability Advisory Committee. So there are advisory committees. They advise the board on various policies. And then we have also what we call the supporting organizations. We have the address supporting organizations. In the council of this ASO, we have members from the regional registries. You have also the CCNSO, which is called the Country Code Name Supporting Organization. You have the managers of the country code organizations who are part of the CCNSO, and they have a council also. You have a generic name supporting organization, GNSO, and you have many groups also in the GNSO. I forgot to mention also the ALAC in the advisory committees, which is the at-large advisory committee. So in the ALAC, you have many end users association part of the ALAC, and you have 15 members in the ALAC, which is the committee for the at-large. So this is how the ICANN community is organized. You have various ways to engage at ICANN. You have various ways. There are policies, and ICANN can affect the policies, can affect your business. So we have the policy related to a generic name that can affect your net configuration or your brand or your business practice online. So it is important that you participate in the policy. ICANN is open to everyone, so you can participate in ICANN activities in different ways. So through one of the supporting organizations, if you are qualified, or through, if you are just an end user, you have the at large, and you have also other groups in what we call under the generic name supporting organization. You hear about the NPOC, you hear about the NCUCs. So these are also groups for end users. So depending on your area of the interest, you can engage with ICANN. And there is something very important we call the multi-stakeholder model at ICANN. So everyone can participate on equal footing. So that is also very important to note. So the domain name, the way it works is like when you connect an equipment to the internet. So anytime you have an equipment connected to the internet, this equipment has an IP address. So at the beginning, we were focusing on computers and printers. Today is no more the case. You have things, anything that can be connected, many things that can be connected to the internet, not only what we know at the beginning as personal computers. So today you have many devices. You have your camera, you can have your car, you can have your refrigerator. So many devices that can be connected. And then once this device is connected to the internet, this device automatically can be assigned, can manually, automatically can get in what we call an IP address. So at the same time, it's very difficult to remember the IP addresses if you want to remember them. Very difficult. So this is why you can see at the bottom, you see what we call the domain name. www.exam.com is a domain name, so very easy to keep in mind, more easy to keep in mind than the domain name. So what we call the domain name system is the link between the IP addresses and the domain name. So because when you type your domain name, in the background there are some processes going on, technical people, they do configuration. So what you type can hit a device somewhere where you can see content. It can be a website, it can be a different equipment. So that is the domain name system. So the domain name system help us to make the link between the IP addresses and the domain name. And in this ecosystem, there are three names you can maybe keep. We have what we call the registries. So the domain name registries, they are the organization receiving the delegation. So when we have a domain name, for example, a top-level domain name, I can delegate the management of the top-level domain name to what we call a registry. So the domain name registry. So for each country, we have one domain name registry for each country code. For Senegal, you have one. For Gambia, you have one. For Cote d'Ivoire, you have one. So we have one organization, which is the registry, the domain name, country code, domain name registry. Even for generic one, for .com, you have the .com registry. .africa, you have the .africa registry. For every top-level domain name, you have a registry. So registrars are organizations who receive agreement for who sign contracts with registries, and then they are the organization or companies offering domain name registration to organizations or to people. So these are the registrars, and the registrars are the holders of a domain name. So sometimes you hear about people say 2R model or 3R model. So when you hear that, they are referring to the registry, the registrar, and the registrant. Even sometimes between the registrar and the registrant, you have people we call the reseller, who are small businesses or even individual who can help a registrar to get domain name registration. So this is showing you what we have, the relation between ICANN and AFRINIC especially. So we have a department today we call it PTI. PTI is an affiliate of ICANN performing what we call the IANA functions. So the IANA function at what I displayed in the first slide, where we have three columns, the names and the number and the protocol. So they function are what we call the IANA functions, and we have today an affiliate we call PTI, And anytime you hear about IANA, you have to know that it's still an affiliate of ICANN. So we have something like a department, and today we call it PTI. And PTI, or through the ANA function, I can provide block of IP addresses and autonomous system number to regional registries. So this is the relation between ICANN and the regional registries. So AFRINIC is the one for Africa, and then the regional registry also from the end they provide IP resources to the other organizations. So this is the relation between ICANN and the regional registry. So this is the way the IP addresses and the autonomous system numbers are distributed. I want to move to what we call the new generic top-level domain names. We have two main categories of top-level domain names, as I said before. One group is for country, and the second group is what we call the generic. Those who are not for countries are what we call the generic top-level domain names. So at the beginning, we had just a few. Recently, until 2016, we had only 22 generic top-level domain names recently. But now today, you have up to more than 102,000 generic top-level domain names. You have more than 1,200 generic top-level domain names. It's important to note because sometimes people design website or offer internet services. They have in mind .com, .org, .info. You have a lot of new extensions today. So again, one of the role of ICANN is at some point to allow new top-level domain name to enter into a domain name space. Currently, there are some ongoing discussion on if the community can have also new top-level domain names. So this is what we call the new top-level domain name, and you hear sub-pro, subsequent procedure. Anytime you hear sub-pro discussion or subsequent procedure, it's related to a new domain top-level domain name. So as I mentioned, recently until 2016, we had only 22, and today we have more than 1,300 new names. You have also domain name for cities, and you have also one for Africa, .Africa, for example. But it's important to note also that having different domain names is not an issue. Technical people know how to manage this so that you use different top-level domain name, but they are pointing to the same server. So technical people know how to do that. So ICANN's role is to ensure that anytime there are policies, there are discussion, new domain names at the top-level domain are authorized. So what you see here, I just want to mention that anytime you see or you hear about internationalized domain name, IDN, international domain name, anytime you see the word international domain name, this has nothing to do with content. This has nothing to do with content. It is the domain name itself in different languages. So on this slide, you see .com. .com is in ASCII characters. But if you go to the next slide, for example, I cannot read this because I don't know this character is not my language. So the idea of having the international domain name is to help to allow all the communities to do everything in their languages, not only the content, because today you can have .com, but the content is Arabic. You can have a website, a domain name address with .org, but the content is Chinese. So the international domain name, you have the domain name itself, in a character which is different from the ASCII character. So this is what to keep mention about IDN. And the other notion I wanted also to share with you is the notion of universal acceptance. So today we have in our new plan for the next 5 years, we have a focus on the universal acceptance. So what does it mean? So all domain names and email addresses should work with all software and applications. Like if your system is not well set or is not ready, someone can send an email with a domain name in Chinese, like you have a government platform, for example, for people to bid, and then your system is not allowing domain name with other characters. So you lose a lot of emails, you lose a lot of communication. So this is why it is important today that we talk about acceptance, universal acceptance. So because today you have a new top level domain, you have longer domain name, you have domain names which are not only in ASCII. So this is all these changes who are bringing the what we call the universal acceptance issue. Then it's important to be involved to see how you can contribute. There are many activists. There is a group called UASG, Universal Acceptance Steering Group. So there you can have a lot of resources on their website, usg.tech. And then you can also, from your community, you can submit idea so that ICANN can see how to help you develop what we call the local initiatives. We have also some programs, the fellowship, the next gen and newcomer. When you get the presentation, you can click on the link and listen to the video. We have 3 public meetings every year. We are moving around the world, so you can have the opportunity to travel to another, to any place the meeting is happening. When you have the fellowship, unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we have not been able to have physical meetings this year, but hopefully next year we can go back to Cancun, and some people who are already selected will be participating in the next one. So these are also some special programs, so you can also participate through these programs. And then you have also what is different between the two, the fellowship and the next gen. The next gen is a different one, but it's for people having between 18 and 30-year-olds. So we have the 2 programs anytime we have an ICANN meeting, and people have they are supported for travel, for accommodation, and also they have a small stipend for small expenses. So during these 2 programs, so you can read more from ICANN website. ICANN Learn is also a platform where everything we are saying today, you can see more about the ICANN Learn platform, from technical matters to policy matters. Many courses are available on ICANN Learn. And then if you go there, you have also materials available in many languages, and you can take your courses there. So what I want to say to close is that we have also a mailing list for you, important. When Brice was presenting, he mentioned the list, the one we call African, AFRICANN, AFRICANN. So it's hosted on ICANN, on AFRINIC device server. So we use that mailing list to communicate mainly for African communities. So Pierre Nandino, who is a Vice President for Stakeholder and Global Engagement in Africa, will be talking about the AF-STAR, one of the AF-STAR African next week, I hope. So I want to invite you to subscribe to this mailing list, which is called African, hosted by AFRINIC. So anytime we have information, we post through this mailing list. So I want to give some time for interaction. So this is why I make this presentation brief. There are more slides I will be putting in to explain more the difference between the domain names that you see clearly that we have 2 main categories of top-level domain names, and then also where you can see more information about universal acceptance. So I want to stop there, and anytime you want to send an email to the team in Africa, we have a department called GSC, Global Stakeholder Engagement Department. You send an email to queries.nairobiec@icann.org. Pierre will have it, I'll have it, and my colleague Bob will have it. But you can write to me directly to erv.atomo@icann.org. So I want to stop there so that we use the rest of the time to interact so that you clearly ask some question and I can provide direct answer to them. Thank you for your attention.
And the question, we have Lucien to go first. If you want to ask a question, kindly raise your hand in the hand icon and I'll have you. Lucien has dropped. Shadrach.
Okay.
Shadrach. Okay, Shadrach has dropped too. Okay, let me take him again. Shadrach, if you're ready to speak. Okay, Akisibe. Wow. Okay, if you are unable to speak, kindly just chat. I will pick it from the chat. We have already shared the African mailing list link on the chat, and the same link will be shared on the other platforms.
So was it too fast?
Let's take Lucien. Just one question.
Hello?
Yes, Lucien?
Sorry, this is Elvis.
Go ahead, please.
Elvis from Nigeria. So I have a question in regards to the international domain name. You know, sometimes you can receive like a domain name like like you presented that you can't read, and it seems to be very confusing. And sometimes these domain names, basically how does ICANN help to handle domain names that are considered fraudulent? Because there can be some domain names that will be used to do something else, and if someone subscribes to that domain name, the domain name can be used to kind of like hack the person's computer or something like that. So how does ICANN see that every to make sure that every domain name is basically legitimate and does not cause any issue to anyone, especially internet providers and the RIR?
Noted.
Yeah.
Should I respond or we take all the questions?
Can you have 3 and then you can be able to respond?
Yes,
is that
please.
okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Shadrach. Shadrach, are you with us? Jean? Jean? Is it Jean or Jean Binemo?
Jean-Gelor Binemo, Lubumbashi, RDC, Mokambo. Donc, je voulais qu'on puisse nous préciser quelles sont les opportunités, parce que j'ai entendu le présentateur, quelles sont les opportunités qu'ICANN offre, surtout pour l'Afrique, et beaucoup plus pour l'implication de gens en termes de formation, en termes de connectivité en Internet et autres, et que nous pouvons aussi vulgariser pour que les gens y participent, pour les jeunes y participent, et comment faire. Merci.
Merci. Another question? Oh, that's all.
I am not seeing anyone raising hands. Let me check in the chat. There is a question from Rashad Nasosi. He's saying, I want more about UA. I think he means he wants to know more about UA. What is their benefit?
Thank you.
The other one is, please, we need soft copies of the presentations. This will be provided at the end of the meeting.
Sure. So if I can start answering so that
sorry, can I just add you one more question?
Please go ahead.
Just add you? Since some fellows have already been selected to participate in the ICANN meeting next year, is it possible to open applications for new fellows? That's the last question.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'll start with the first one, the international domain name again. As I mentioned, the idea is to have people use the domain name in their own languages. So there is a process. This is the role of ICANN. So any name cannot use. So there is a process to have new names as top level domain names. So there is a process. First, the community need to work on policy. This policy need to be approved by the board. And then after that, it's open for application. So this was done in 2016. And then we started from 2016, started having new names. So for the international domain names, there are two ways. Some of them came through a new generic top-level domain name process, or we have also some countries where they have the country code domain name in ASCII code. Let me give you an answer for Mauritania. The country code top-level domain for Mauritania is MR. But when the Arabic community has done a work to define policy guidelines, because there is something important is the community start and the ICANN help the community. For each language, the community should say what can be used as character in this script. If I take the example of Ethiopia, the community in Ethiopia, where we have computer specialists, language specialists, other people from academia, they have to define which character can be used. So they have done their work with ICANN support. So now we have rules that can be used when we have like Ethiopic character to be used for domain name. So when somebody sends you an email, this is the general rule for a cyber security rule that apply. People are asked not to click on any link or not to respond to pay attention to mail they receive. So what the question is linked to what we call the domain name abuse. Domain name abuse, we have a lot of topic on domain name abuse. How to be sure that people, or how to limit people to abuse of domain name. So what ICANN is doing is that first, the first answer is that you have a list. You have a list of all the domain names. So if you go to ICANN website, you'll see the list of all domain names delegated in the root zone. So it's easy for you to know if a domain name is delegated or not. That is one. Second one, well, if you see something that is funny as an email, so this is a general rule, don't respond to any email, don't click on any link without checking, and that is the rule you can use to protect yourself. So that is the answer. So the international domain names is an opportunity for all the community to use the scripts to write domain names. So again, it's different from content. International domain name is a domain name is in older scripts different than the ASCII characters. Now, this is the way to helping the community to use the languages, the script especially, to write domain names. So the second question is opportunity for ICANN in terms of capacity building. ICANN role is more technical role. So ICANN is not in ICANN role is to be sure that internet will keep working every day, every time, and internet is safe. So we have what we call the root servers, the root zone, and we have device or servers we call the root server. So ICANN role is to be sure that all this system is working perfectly, and behind that there is a need of policy. So I can again coordinate all the policies needed to better manage the domain name. So in terms of training, I just mentioned on my last slide what we have as a platform for online learning, I Can Learn. But in addition, we used to organize specific training. Today we have in Africa, we have a department in ICANN called Technical Engagement Department. And then we have 2 more people hired recently to support the training on technical matters like domain name abuse, DNSSEC, root server. So we have a department providing, upon request, we organize with the community training on specific technical topics for the community. And then we have a lot of webinars. It's like at the end of this month, we have one webinar for the people managing the country code. And then we have also one webinar for the regulators to inform them about international domain names. Now, the last one was about the universal acceptance of domain name. Again, the universal acceptance, the notion is linked to the fact that we have new domain name, new generic top-level domain name. Some are longer, and then we have domain name in characters that are different from ASCII characters. So that is where the universal acceptance issue come from. Now we have a group called UASG.tech. So if you go to that website, UASG.tech, you see a lot of information, even a PDF file, how you can submit what we call a local initiative to have support. So this is what I want to give as answer to this question. I will provide more information on the slide. So thank you very much. So I understand we are over time allocated. So we'll keep communicating via email if necessary. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yaovi. At the end of this session, feel free to write your question down, and we will be in a position to take in questions at the end of the session. At this juncture, I would like to welcome Israel to give us the Internet Society presentation. Israel, we can't hear you, sorry, and we can't see you. We can't hear you, sorry.
You can't hear me?
Now we can hear you. Yeah, share your
Okay.
screen then.
Fantastic. Good morning to everyone. Just give me a few seconds to open my presentation. So can you see my screen, Susan?
Yes, your slides
Fantastic.
are already up. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm here to talk about Internet Society as a newcomer in this very, very important space. And I would like to talk to you about what the Internet Society is doing, but more importantly, what it has as planned for 2021 to 2025. So I will click on this video. If it plays, then we will see. If you can't hear me or you can't hear the video, you tell me and stop, and then I'll continue. Can you hear me? Good. So thank you very much. In the video I just shared is telling you exactly who the Internet Society is. We are a global non-profit organization empowering people to keep the internet a force for good, open, globally connected, and secure and trustworthy. We believe that the work we do is through people and communities, and we are a global movement of champions that work to ensure that the internet is to bring the internet to everyone, and that it offers hope, it brings opportunity, it celebrates humanity, it offers you the possibility to thrive within your area. And the work we do is through chapters, communities, and we work with them to build innovation, promote the best use practice of technologies, and encourage the adoption of policies that enables us to have a very nice environment for the internet to thrive. So at the beginning in 1992, the Internet Society started off with a bunch of buddies who were interested in the internet, and with the Internet Engineering Task Force, the Internet Society was created. From the early years, our principles and rationale was to ensure that the internet standards and processes are kept. And as seen in the video, our vision is to ensure that we bring the internet to everyone. And our mission is that the internet, people are at the heart of the internet, and we believe that everyone should have the opportunity to benefit from an open and trusted internet. These are at the heart of our values. Our goal is we seek to collaborate with all individuals to work together and to build an internet that is resilient and is strong. And as you can see in that image, that is what we do as the Internet Society. Globally, the Internet Society has a community of over 110 organizations and members, and 126 plus chapters, 10 plus special interest groups, and over 60,000 individual members from across 26 countries, 230 countries, territories, and areas in different geographic zones. If you look at the map on the screen, it shows you clearly where the Internet Society members, chapters are spread, and we are quite a global organization. And we work to ensure that people have, more importantly, that they have a better quality of the internet and can improve on their lifestyles using the internet. Our membership, the Internet Society, we consider membership as something that is really, really important for the way we function. And so we have 72 plus thousand people working for an internet that brings opportunity to everyone. Our members come together every time from different continents, but within their own continent, to discuss about our mission, but also how to build the internet. Our members, they discuss openly, they have special events and consultations, they develop learning with each other. You'll see later on the different learning opportunities that we have. They share information and they network and they peer on a number of issues. Then our chapters and interest groups play a very, very important role in the life of the Internet Society. They work with us on our mission to engage members through a common vision, global vision. We offer technical workshops and training. They provide educational networking events, and they inform policymakers on the things that we are doing. As I said before, we are a global community and we are still growing. And you can see here, this is just a spread of where we are. In Africa, we have 37 chapters, and the 37 chapters are spread across 26 countries. In Europe, we have 21 chapters. In APAC, we have 21. In Asia Pacific, we have 21 chapters. In Europe, Latin America, Middle East, and North Africa, we have, that's this data here shows you how our chapters are spread per region, and this is really important to show you this. The Internet Society in Africa is a growing community. There are 23,000 plus individual members, that is 32% of all ISOX members. So Africa is really, really at the heart of what the Internet Society does. We have 37 active members, as I said before. It is still 30% of all ISOX chapters. 20 of them speak English and 17 speaks French. 3 chapters in formation include Zambia, Malawi, Gabon. We were really, really proud to welcome a new chapter recently, Comoros. So if there are people from Comoros here, kudos to you for setting up a very, very important chapter. There are 7 chapter interest groups, which are in Algeria, Angola, Central African Republic, Djibouti, Mozambique, South Sudan, and Mauritius. The oldest chapters include Morocco, and as I said, the newest chapters are Ethiopia, which we welcomed in the month of March, and Comoros, which was in July. What is a chapter, really? This is really an important point. Chapters bring together Internet Society individual members in a geographical area in a city. They run programs and initiatives to support the Internet Society's vision and mission. They are independent organizations run mainly by volunteers, and they are supported and chartered by the Internet Society. So there are I will share these slides after this with the organizers, and you can see the links to how you can form a chapter of the Internet Society. So what are special interest groups? They are formed by individual members of the Internet Society. They are non-geographical. They are independent groups with common topic interest. They are chartered by the Internet Society. So how to start a chapter or a special group? You can gather 25 plus founding members. They shall all be registered. These are really, really important things, policy things. They set their own goals, they identify their own resources, send expression of interest to the Internet Society, complete an application form, follow formation and chapter process defined by the Internet Society, then launch, start the activity. It's simple. It's important to follow these steps. So how is the Internet Society structured? It's really important to know us. We receive guidance from a board of trustees. We have the individual members and chapters. We have organizational members, and we have our staff. The composition of board of trustees is that we have 12 seats plus 1 president and CEO. We have 4 seats for IETF, 4 seats for chapters, and 4 seats for member orgs. And so that is it about chapters. So where are we going? Where are we driving at from 2020 to 2025? I really want to talk about this because this is where you know what we're doing. In 2019, we developed a community survey, which was responded by 3,163 people all over the Internet Society community and the communities we're talking about. The types of people who responded were chapters and special interest groups, individual members, and others. And so you can see the percentage on my left here, all parts of the community. And then in the middle, the regions of responses. Africa with the largest response normally. And you can see the sectors that were represented: academia, technical community, business, civil society, government, and others. So this survey informed us about where we are, what we are doing, and where we should be moving forward. It tested some of the programs we have been introducing and where we should be focusing. Members clearly gave us the information about their interests and considering what the world is going through, where they want to move. And so based on that information, we restructured or refocused our programs to ensure that the needs of our members, our chapters, our individual, our SIGs are considered. And so this is what I'm trying to share with you here. So what we do, the refocus is to build an internet, to build an internet that will not have it, and to build an internet that is really, really strong, to promote an internet model of networking that is preferred, to convince key governments around the world to adopt policies that are friendly to the internet and improve internet connectivity, to promote the deployment of technologies and protocols. Then the next is to defend, shape policies of key governments in favor of growth of independent networks, which are free to connect, to counter attempts by governments to undermine encryption, to defend shutdowns by increasing cross-border connectivity and resiliency. So the community support for new focus areas and strategic objectives were clearly from the respondents. These are some of the things that they felt that we could work on. They strongly support to build and promote defend, as defined in my previous slides. And so it is clear that build, promote, defend is build, promote, defend, and build, extend are some of the strongest points. And so that's why we are focusing on it. The average you can see here, the promoting of technologies has the highest point, 4.6. Promoting policies has the second highest. Building has promoting and defending has the third highest. And so all these things are insights that came from that survey, and that is what is defining our focus. So from that survey and from what we've been discovering, from what we've been seeing around the internet space, is that half of the world have
Israel, if I may, you have 10 minutes left for questions, for your presentation and questions.
Questions and answers. Okay. I will just stop. I will just say that there are half of the world has the internet and the other does not have the internet. So the project we're working on at the moment, we are working to build, promote, and defend the internet, and we have 8 projects. The projects work to support these 3 things. And just to say that there are courses, my presentation may not go far enough. There are courses, we offer courses, we support a number of things around the projects, and we provide a number of technical courses and technical networking opportunities as well. So I will stop here and allow you to ask questions. It's unfortunate that I could not finish the presentation, but I'll stop here and get your questions and provide answers.
You can feel free to chat us on the using the chat or raise up your hand. There's a question from Lucia Fornaro. She asks, are the NTS, these are network time security, standards distributed equally around Africa? Are the NTS standards distributed equally around Africa? We have Vinny Mofati. Please come to the microphone and ask your question.
Ok, bonjour. Bonjour.
Bonjour, bonjour.
Ok, c'est Monsieur Vini Mofati depuis Lubumbashi, RD Congo.
Sorry, there's a lot of echo on his end. We'll take Guylaine.
Ok, bonjour, c'est Monsieur Guylaine Lukoji en République démocratique du Congo, précisément à la ville de Lubumbashi. J'aimerais savoir quelles sont les stratégies établies par ISOKE pour le développement de la capacité de l'Internet qui peut motiver les consommateurs de l'Internet.
Merci.
Ok.
Another question from Henry Mbulu. Henry?
Okay.
We go ahead. I need to give you 3 questions at least. Gabriel Guiner. Gabriel, introduce yourself and ask your question.
Yes, I'm Gabriel O'Hiner, and well, my question is mainly a more recent one. I mean, how has ISOC dealt with the current pandemic with regards to your programs? For example, what if the pandemic extends beyond this year?
Okay. I will start with the last question, then I will go to the first, right up to
Can
the first.
I give you, I only have 2 more and then you can be able to answer the questions.
Okay, go on.
We have Vinny Mwenge Mufati. Can you hear us?
Ok, merci. Je disais, par quel mécanisme l'ISOC promeut l'accès à Internet pour stimuler le progrès social et le développement économique dans la zone Afrique? Merci beaucoup.
Thank you. We have Akisibe.
Thank you. I need to ask you about the chapter. I saw some country like South Sudan, Zambia, but some countries are not there in the list. So I need to know about that.
Thank you. And finally, Henry. Okay, we've lost Henry. So we proceed.
Okay. Yeah. So for the chapter discussion, the list is that my presentation is just presenting a snapshot of all the chapters that we have, but it is not necessarily giving you everything about chapters here. So if you feel that we have not represented your chapter within our presentation, my apologies. But I will link you. I will leave my email to address that after this. But if it is a question around formation of new chapters, the presentation will still be here, and you can follow up and we see how we can set up new chapters within these areas. We have a chapter in Sudan. I'm not sure if we have one in South Sudan. So then on the question, there are 2 questions that are clearly linked to one another. There is the one about how we are working to strategically build the internet, and the other how we are working to strategically promote the internet. On the building the internet, the Internet Society in 2010 came up with this ambitious goal to ensure that there is the local traffic remains local, and it wanted 80% of local traffic to be localized by 2020. Recently, we published a report which was assessing the work we were doing in Kenya and in Nigeria to understand how we fared with this objective. Through internet exchange points, we realized that by working with internet exchange points, we were able to clearly reduce the cost of internet, because one of the things that is affecting access to internet in Africa is the fact that people are not able to access, are not able to afford internet. So by working with internet exchange points, by supporting them to set up these different things in Lubumbashi, all around Africa, our work is to support internet exchange points with the technical capacity, but also with knowledge that they can use to promote these exchange points. So the study in Nigeria showed clearly that in Nigeria and Kenya showed clearly that by working with these internet exchange points, we were able to ensure that local traffic remains local by 70%, and that in Kenya there was a jump in about 500% in the cost of internet in the country. The same thing was observed in Nigeria. So this is just to give you an example of what we are doing at the national levels. At the local levels, we are working on community networks to build and support communities who are disconnected, who are disjointed, to have their own internet to build and to ensure that they can host it. On the issue of the pandemic is something that is really, really affecting everyone. And what we have observed in the internet space is that there are spikes in traffic within the Kenyan IXPs, within the Ugandan IXPs. When I talk about IXPs, I'm talking about internet exchange points. And these are really, really interesting things that we are observing. And so what we're doing is that we are organizing a couple of discussions with policymakers. We are still discussing within the African Internet Resilience webinars we are hosting. And there we are prompting discussions with policymakers. We are prompting discussions with the African Internet technical community on how to really ensure that we can make the internet in Africa to become more resilient. And we are looking at initiatives with some of our partners on how to really support the education sector and how to really ensure that everybody within Africa is surviving with the pandemic, but also going beyond the pandemic, because more and more what we're realizing in these discussions is that policymakers are suddenly realizing that there is a need to really relax the rules around setting up internet around the internet in Africa, but also they are concerned about internet connectivity. Yeah, maybe I've gone beyond my time. Is it?
Yes, thank you very much, Israel. I'm sorry for cutting you. We have a short time, so we have to make most of it. Thank you so much for your presentation. Should anyone have any further questions? We hope to be able to have question and answer sessions at the end. So just write your questions down, and we hope to answer them all at the end of the session. At this time, I would like to welcome James Chirwa to take us through the Newcomers session. He will come in with the AFRINIC resource update. James? Unmute yourself. We can't hear you. We can't hear you yet.
Oh, okay.
Now we can. I need to see your screen.
The screen now.
Okay. There you go. James, we seem to have lost you.
All right. Yeah, I encountered some issues. I think I got kicked out. Just let me share the screen again. Do you have my screen now? Hello?
Need to put it in form of slides.
Yeah, it's in slides.
Okay.
Do you have it? You can see it, right?
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you. All right, so thank you everyone, and good day to you all. My name is James Chirwa. I'll be bringing you IP number resources update. Yeah, so I think my slides have now gotten less and less following the 3 presentations. Most people have really covered a lot, and I think I'll focus mostly on just how AFRINIC we've run over the period to where we are now in terms of IP number resources management. So I think in the past 3 presentations, you've heard about the IP numbers, domain names. So basically, just glancing through from what most of my colleagues have already said, at AFRINIC, we deal mostly with 3 types of IP resources, which is IPv4, IPv6, and autonomous system numbers. So basically, these are unique identifiers, identifying unique hosts and networks over the internet. So IPv4, in case some of you just see the numbers, but you don't know exactly what it is. So IPv4 and IPv6 addresses, those are the IP resources that AFRINIC deals with, and autonomous system numbers that we use to that are used to determine or to define routing policies for our networks over the internet. So in managing these IP number resources at AFRINIC, we have guiding principles, as well as certain other frameworks that comes through. One of the biggest guiding framework that we use is the policies. So these policies, I think my colleague Brice had introduced earlier on. They are developed by a community. And once they are developed by a community through a process of somebody proposes and they are deliberated over the community and adopted. Once adopted, that's when they come to staff for implementation. So once it's implemented, it comes into force. Whenever resource request that is applicable to such a particular policy comes in, staff would evaluate such a request for resources against that particular policy. So I'll not talk much about the policies, but the next presenter will be giving you so much on policy development processes. Moving on, I think just to also glance through something that was already talked about, we all came across PTI, IANA, ICANN. This is where AFRINIC and the rest of the other 4 regional internet registries get their IP resources from. So in our all different setups, we have different models of how we deal with our members. So as for example, if you would see these 5, you see different RIR, NIR, and EU inside sources. So what are the difference about these? NIR simply stands for National Internet Registry, while RIR stands for Local Internet Registry, and Insight is basically an insight. So just a brief description on those 3. NIR usually would be a national internet registry, probably under the management of the by the government. So that would be this particular national internet registry model is not applicable in the region, in our region at AFRINIC. As you can see, this one.
If I may interrupt you.
Yes.
Kindly switch to presenter's view. We are viewing both.
Oh, okay. Okay, you have a single screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. Yeah, so I was just talking about the National Internet Registry model, which we don't have in AFRINIC region, but what we have in the region is basically the local internet registries, which is LIR and the Insights. So the difference between the 2 is basically LIRs are predominantly the service providers, and then Insights would be corporate entities that are running networks and would want to have their own IP addresses, corporate or even academic institutions. So if any organization that wishes to put up their network on a public IP space of their own, but they don't want to get that space from the service provider. So they are able to come to us, we'll be able to give them the resources. Meanwhile, LIRs are the ones that get it from us, and then in the process of giving their service, they would be giving the IP addresses also to their inside customers. So there is that model that is possible in our region and in most of other regions. The National Internet Registry model is only applicable in 2, that is the Asia Pacific as well as the Latin America registries. So having spoken about the IP number resources or public IP addresses, one would be wondering why you would need your own public IP addresses when some networks can run maybe probably using private IP addresses. And then with a single IP address, you'd be able to get out of your private network up onto the internet. Well, simply we have 3 reasons that I can put to you here. First of all, if you are looking to do proper multi-homing across the internet, if you want to do peering or have multiple upstream providers and you want to properly do load balancing with it, between you those different upstreams, or even peer at an IXP, you'd need public IP addresses of your own. Network changes. If you have a network and you're running private IP addresses, you get a number of IP addresses, let's say only 100 IP from your upstream service provider. The day you wish to change an upstream provider, you would have to change those 100 and get a new set from another. So that means a lot of reconfiguration on your network. So to avoid that renumbering, if you get your own prefixes from AFRINIC, once you get to change a service provider, all you need to do is probably minimal work over the edge of your network. Not much changes will happen on your core network because you are running your own network prefixes. The third reason you'd want to get your own public IP address is identity independence. So when you are going to the internet, you want to be known as you, the network operator. You don't want to be hiding behind the service provider's network. So it's important. In that same aspect, you will be defining your own routing policies. You are not going to rely on a service provider's routing policies. So getting your own public IP addresses gives you these three possibilities with ease, rather than running on public space that you are getting from your service provider, or even running on public IP addresses and private IP addresses. So talking about membership, if you want to get the IP resources, you need to become an AFRINIC member. So it's a simple process. There will be some steps where you need to be evaluated because there are, like I said, there are policies that you have to comply with. So that is the link to where you can start from. You will find some guiding manuals as well that will explain to you some steps that you need to do. We will need some information that you need to provide to us. If you recall the presentation from my colleague, I think the first or the second, but the first presenter, he mentioned about requirement to be legally incorporated in the region. So you need to provide such information that would prove that you are a legal entity. But because you are also having to conform with some policies, one of the core one is you need to demonstrate how you want to use those particular IP addresses, because there are specific policies that show that states that IP resources are issued on needs basis. So those are some of the important things. But then before you can even get the resources, you need to sign an agreement with us. So while we are doing the this work of managing IP number resources, what really pushes us, or what really drives us into doing such work of managing these number resources? Why not just leave them and everybody would use them freely? First thing is, the most important thing I would say is registration. People have to know IP, like I said initially at first, IP addresses or IP resources are unique identifiers. So they are meant to identify a unique host or a unique network over the internet. Now, if you don't properly register them, if you let a system that is not properly functional, the registration itself is not as accurate as it is supposed to be. Or if it is having overlaps, then there will be confusion over the internet. The internet will fail. The internet cannot work properly. So it is important for AFRINIC to provide this registration service to make sure that every operator that gets an IP address is properly known. Everybody who wants to know who runs a particular network, if you get an IP address, you want to check and know who is running a network on that particular network. You should be able to come visit our WHOIS, where we put the registration records. You should be able to get the right information. So registration is one of the most important principles. The second principle I will talk about is conservation. So IP resources, especially IPv4, is a very finite resource. At the moment, we are almost running out of IPv4. We are talking about only 4 billion numbers, IP numbers, and with the current growth of the internet, managing these resources becomes so crucial. So while we're doing our work, we make sure that IP resources are given to operators who needs to use them within a certain period, which actually we don't want people to be getting resources and stockpiling them for a future use when others would be in need of the same and can't access them. So there is the principle of conservation, which we look at greatly. The third one is aggregation, which mostly the most intent is to keep the global routing as small as possible. So we try to give resources as much as possible, as highly aggregated as possible. This has been a challenge recently with the exhaustion of IPv4, where we have been pushed to giving smaller blocks because of coming in of also the conservation aspect. But on the other side of IPv6, this aggregation aspect is actually more and more pronounced. We are actually using it very much on IPv6 because we don't want to make similar issues that have been experienced with IPv4. So these 3 principles in address management are core to our work while we are doing IP resource management. Now, having spoken about the WHOIS database, this is the main service that AFRINIC provide to now globally to anyone, because if you want to access, if you want to query and know who runs a particular network on a certain IP address, this is where you get the information. So AFRINIC works so hard to make sure that this WHOIS database contains information that is as accurate as it can be. You can be able to interact with the WHOIS database in different ways. We have a command line interface. You can get the WHOIS copy from our FTP site, as you can see. You can as well also, for members, they would be able to interact with the WHOIS database also through our membership portal, my.afrinic.net. Anyone else who wants to query or even make updates, if they are a member, they would be also able to interact with it through our publicly accessible WHOIS graphical user interface at whois.afrinic.net. And also you can as well make some changes if you are a member through email to that particular email address. So we have guide that would tell you more on how these particular tools or how you can interact with these particular tools in details. You can access them over our website. Now, having spoken about the WHOIS database, let us look at the information.
You have 2 minutes to close.
All right, thank you. The resources that we have. So IPv4, this is the number of resources we have. And if you can see, like I said, we are running out of IPv4. So right now we only have 2% of this pool. We have almost about 7/8 and only 2%, which gives us about less than 2 million of IP addresses to give out. So we are almost at the end. This is just a trend, and you can see how fast we went down from 2012 to 2017. So if you can see the change in 2017, that there was a slight flattening of the graph. This was because of policy changes. So one policy came in which brought in limitations on the number of IPs we can give out. Same thing also happened in just early this year. So you see a much flatter graph at towards this year as well. So these are policy changes and they have impact on how we do our work. So you can see the consumption right now, 0.12/8 is what we are remaining with in the available pool. That translates to about 1,800,000 of IPv4. So just what I've already explained about the policy changes. IPv6, we do have a chunk of IPv6 that is almost unused. So current membership, we've only given out about 1% of what is available. So if you're a network operator, if you don't have IPv6, come and get IPv6. And also that 1% is not that they are using it. And we encourage you, if you have IPv6 and you're not using it, please get to know. We have the first presenter spoke about our initiatives in terms of deployments, training. So you have more information on how you can deploy IPv6 on that side. This is just the trend on how IPv6 usage has been across the years. You'll notice that there was a high jump in 2012. That was after IANA announced the exhaustion of IPv4. So there was that kind of rush that came in. The last resource is the AS number. So these are the AS numbers that we have. So far for the pool that we have used 58%. And then if we are running out of this, IANA would still be available to provide us with additional space. This is the adoption trends that we have had over the years. You see that year and year, more networks are getting to adopt the AS numbers, and this is making them run truly global networks, getting that independence, identity independence over the internet. Apart from the IP services, these are additional services and initiatives that we give. I think apart from the rest, which my colleague earlier on spoke about, I can only speak more on the Internet Routing Registry and RPKI. These are crucial services that we are currently offering and encouraging our members to use because they are crucial for routing security. With the exhaustion of IPv4, there has been so many issues of resource hijack. So if you want to understand more, search for IPv4 hijack, you'll be able to see what happens. But to protect against such issues, these particular tools or services would be able to help you mitigate such risk and challenges. So for those who are already members, please go and read our manuals on this and adopt these particular services. They are crucial for your best your operation on your networks. More initiatives. I think most of these were also covered initially by my colleagues. So practically, this brings me to the end of my presentation. If you need to contact us, if you are not a member, that's the email address for prospective member, new-member at afrinic.net. If you want any support on resources, you can contact us at hostmaster@afrinic.net. If you want just assistance in account and management, you can contact us at servicesupport@afrinic.net. Thank you all.
Thank you. If you could write should anyone have questions, you should write them in the chat. Time is far much spent, and we will like to welcome our second our next presenter, Madhvi Gokul. She'll take us through the policy development process and policy update. Madhvi?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, put it in form of slideshow.
Yes, it's in slideshow.
Okay.
All right. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Madhvi Gokul. I work for AFRINIC, and I will be taking you through the policy development process and the policy updates in the AFRINIC service region.
by accident. So you should hit the microphone button again. We're not able to hear you.
Hear you?
Better now?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Where did you lose me?
Used yourself, so you start all over. Sorry.
So I'll have to start over.
Take it again.
Is it better now?
Please
Yes.
proceed and give us the viewer slide. We are seeing both slides.
Now? Okay, viewer slides. Wait. Is it better now?
Yes. Please proceed.
So I have to redo the slide.
Pardon?
Okay, let me. Do you have to restart the slide?
No, we can see you can see your screen.
Okay, so in the RIR system, the community decides on how these resources are managed. And you, as interested parties in this session, okay, you form the AFRINIC community. So by participating in the policy development process, you can help us better manage the resources for Africa. So what are the number resources management policies? The word policies, you've been hearing them since the morning, but in the context of AFRINIC, these policies are actually impact the number resources that we manage, which means IPv4, IPv6, and AS numbers. So these are the guidelines by which AFRINIC staff, okay, that will be used by AFRINIC staff to manage these resources. These are the guidelines that will tell James' team, in fact, in how to evaluate resource requests from AFRINIC members and how they can distribute these resources to the AFRINIC members. These policies are also guidelines for the services that AFRINIC offer around these resources. Some of the policies mention the WHOIS database. Some of them mention the services, for example, the RPKI or even reverse DNS. The policies are developed by the AFRINIC community. Since 2004, okay, the first policy at AFRINIC was implemented when we first started operating in 2005. But in 2004, in the first public policy meeting in Dakar, at that time, Senegal, the policy was, a policy proposal was in fact discussed with the AFRINIC community present there. And the policy development is a process, and the resource policies are developed through the policy development process. When it comes to, so there are 3 principles, okay, guiding the policy development process: openness, transparency, and bottom-up. What does openness mean? Policy development shall happen in an open forum, whether in a face-to-face or online. Online guarantees the openness anywhere, any person sitting anywhere in the world, okay, and having an interest in how AFRINIC develops its manages its resources can participate in the discussions. They can contribute to the discussions. They can even propose policies. Transparency, which means that everything is documented. We have archives of all, we keep archives of all the mailing list discussions. And we also have all the public policy meetings This is one word, we'll explain later what it is. We have the archives of the minutes of all the public policy meetings as well, and we make them publicly available. For those interested, it is very good reading material for you. And the fairness principle is to ensure that the goal of all the discussions is to ensure fair distribution of resources. So as I said, the policy development process is a documented policy. Where is it documented? We have a manual now in which all the implemented policies have been documented, which contains all the implemented policies. And the policy development process is also subject to change if we have a change, if we have a change proposed through the policy development process as well. Okay. And the procedures in the PDP are designed to be fair, open, and objective. Okay. And yeah, implemented policies. So while I did say that we have a manual that have all the implemented policies, but they're not written in stone. Implemented policies can evolve to adapt to new situations that prevail, which means that someone in the community now can propose an amendment to some of the policies that we have since 2005, sorry. So a simplified version of the PDP is anyone can submit a proposal. The proposal is posted to the RPD mailing list. If you don't know what it is, Bryce had it in his initial slides, and I have it in a further slide down. And the proposal is also updated on the AFRINIC website. Discussions would happen on the RPD mailing list. It will also happen at the public policy meeting. So this PPM is happening next week, Wednesday and Thursday. If consensus has been reached at the PPM, then the policies would go in last call on the list, where contributors are still free to discuss the policy. And if the co-chairs declare consensus, then the policy is submitted to the AFRINIC board for ratification, and then it goes to AFRINIC staff for implementation. To note here that the implemented policies would affect the current AFRINIC resource members, as well as any organization who wants to become an AFRINIC resource member in the near future. So this is the link where you can access the policy manual, what we call the Consolidated Policy Manual, CPM. And this manual is updated from time to time when we have new policies that are ratified and implemented. So AFRINIC holds at least one public policy meeting a year. We have been used to 2 meetings a year, but this year, late in the year, September, we're having the first meeting. And the PPM will happen on the 16th to 17th of September. And in those 2 days, there would be there's a change there. We will have 10 policy proposals that will be discussed. Even though we have 12 policy proposals that have been submitted, but only 10 will be discussed on those 2 days. And the agenda of when each policy will be discussed can be available on the meeting website. So we have what we call the Policy Development Working Group, which is composed of anyone, which means you all, if you're participating in the policy discussions, as well, and it is chaired, the working group is chaired by 2 persons. They are volunteers, and usually the volunteer term is for 2 years, and they have been selected by the community, And these two persons, you will see them in action next week. They are Moses Irugo from Uganda and Abdul Karim Oloyede from Nigeria. And they're supported by AFRINIC, usually for AFRINIC staff, myself, for example, for the secretariat duties. Their role is as facilitators and to come up whether based on the discussions on the policy proposals, there has been rough consensus or not. If there has not been consensus, what happens to a policy proposal? It goes back to the mailing list for further discussion and refinement. So how can you participate? So you can participate. So what are the prerequisites for participation? So if you have an interest, it starts with you having a person having an interest in how AFRINIC manages its resources. Okay, the discussions happen mostly in English, but an understanding of English and French. I've seen French being used in some, and then the others who don't understand French would usually use Google Translate to understand the discussions. And even in the sessions, we would have the interpretation from English to French and vice versa. You need an email address and internet access. Before participating, all right, you have to also subscribe to the RPD mailing list, okay, and also look up the proposals on the AFRINIC website, okay. And if for the newcomers, especially the newbies, if you are now subscribing to the RPD mailing list, you would not have a clue as to what are the discussions that happened in the past. So we have the archives, so you can consult the archives to acquaint yourself with the discussions, right? And there are two types of participation: online, so whenever you are free, you can participate, you can in the discussions, you can contribute your views regarding those policies on the mailing list, okay? And one thing to pay attention to is that you facilitate the thread on the mailing list and ease understanding of the discussions. You pick up or you maintain the subject line, all right? That way, the authors also will know that you're contributing to their policy. If you're requesting for clarification, they can respond to you. You will be able to see this if you go through the archives now, because especially for this month, there has been a lot of activity regarding the policy discussions. If announced, if policy webinars are announced, that's another way of participation, just to know what is happening in the policy landscape at AFRINIC. And you can also encourage participation in your organization, whether on-site or remote. So on-site, some of you may be lucky and have resources to attend the physical face-to-face AFRINIC meetings. And you can contribute your views regarding the policies. But remember, in each meeting, we have a limited microphone time, and we may also have a lot of people who are interested. But that doesn't mean, so there could have instances where you are not able to participate, but then feel free to use the online participation always to make yourself heard. We've had, we look forward, in fact, to have more authors or co-authors of a policy. And we recommend that you read the Consolidated Policy Manual, go through the Policy Implementation Experience Reports, identify a problem statement. If you are not that comfortable, you can seek the assistance of an experienced author to help with your policy draft. You could also contact AFRINIC for support to write the draft. We'll help you with the editorial part, and you come up with a proposal. One suggested, one advice is that you avoid competing proposals unless necessary. So where possible, please contribute to the discussions happening around on the mailing list. And some authors are very, they look forward to having the community contribute and may refine their text. So a summary of what's coming your way in the next week regarding the policies. So like I said, we have, sorry, I skipped a slide. So a summary of roughly the number of policy proposals that are implemented in the consolidated policy manual. Remember, there are definitely more than these that were ratified since 2005, but at the moment we have roughly 8 IPv4 policies in there, 8 IPv6 policies, 7 policies regarding the ASN, 4 policies regarding services, and 1 policy for the policy development process, all documented in the consolidated policy manual at the moment. And at the upcoming PPM, we have roughly, so these are the areas or the types of policies that we have. We still have 4 policies regarding IPv4, 1 policy regarding IPv6, 4 policy proposals regarding AS numbers, 3 policy proposals for the services, and 5 policy proposals to amend the policy development process in one form or the other. So I've summarized the title of these policy proposals. We in fact have 3 resource transfer policies for inter-RIR transfers. And when I spoke about, you know, the free policy proposals for the services, these are the 3 policies that are classified in there. And these are the policy proposals that are trying to bring amendments to the policy development process. So on this, I would like to thank you for your attention. And we'll take questions later, right?
Yes, we take questions later. I will have Abiadekam